So there are many ways to do division. I'm going to show you the long division way. This is the algorithm that your parents and myself and your grandparents probably learned. This is how they learned division. So the problem that we're going to start out with today is a number that will not have a remainder. It'll be 225 divided by 5. Now we know 5 goes into 225. We don't know how many times, but we know it because we know that 5 is goes into 225 because 225 is divisible by 5. So we're going to just show the process, and this one will not have a remainder. So the way we do this in the long division way is we ask ourselves, okay, how many times does 5 go into 2? Well, we know that it cannot. It's too small. So then what we're going to ask ourselves is how many times does 5 go into 22? And we know that 5 goes into 22 5, 10, 15, 20 times. So we know that it goes into it 4 times. Then what we do is we take 4 and multiply that by 5. And we know 4 times 5, get rid of this line here, equals 20. And then from here, you subtract. So we're not even kind of ignoring this 5 for now. And then we ask ourselves, how many times 2 minus 0 is obviously 2. 2 minus 2 is nothing, so we can just leave that blank. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring this number down. And now we ask ourselves, how many times does 5 go into 25? Or another way you might think about it is how many 5 times what equals 25. So we know that 5 times 5 equals 25. So we know we can put down 5 times 5 equals 25, and we have 0. That means our answer is 45. Now that's a long division way without remainders. I'm going to do another problem where we're going to do long division, but we're going to have a remainder now. So we'll still set it up the same way, 144 divided by 5. And we know that this will have remainders because 5 does not go into 144 because 144 does not end in a 5 or a 0. That's our divisibility rules. So we're going to still do the same thing though. How many times does 5 go into 1? It does not, it's too small. But how many times does 5 go into 14? Well, we know that it goes into it 2 times because 2 times 5 equals 10. So 14 minus 10 equals 4. Bring down that 4 again. So now our next question is how many times does 5 go into 44? Another way you might ask yourself is what 5 times what is going to get us 44? So you might write it out in a couple ways. You might say 5 times what equals 44. Well, you can just kind of do the multiples of 5. You could go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. We can stop at 45 because we know that that number is bigger than this number here. And we know that 5 can go into it once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we know really it's 5 times 8 does not necessarily equal 44, but it does equal 40. So I'm going to put my 8 right there, and we know that 5 times 8 equals 40. And then we're going to subtract and have a remainder of 4, which means that our answer is 28 remainder 4. Now you could do this a couple ways. For some of you, you might not have had to do this. This might have been an optional thing. You might have known that 5 goes into 44 8 times with a remainder 4. But if you need to kind of see it, you could do it in multiples. You can also turn the division into a multiplication problem. And that is how you do long division using a remainder and one without a remainder.